Monopoly. The name alone conjures up images of wealth, property, and ruthless competition. It's a game that has become synonymous with the American dream, where anyone can rise to the top with a bit of luck and a lot of strategy. The iconic board, the colorful money, the thrill of acquiring properties, and the agony of landing on someone else's hotel. All these elements have made Monopoly a household name for generations. It's the game we all know. From family game nights to friendly gatherings, Monopoly has been a staple in our lives. It's a game that brings people together, but also one that can drive them apart with its competitive nature. It's the game many of us love to hate. The long hours, the heated arguments, the inevitable bankruptcies, all part of the Monopoly experience. Yet despite the frustration, we keep coming back to it, drawn by its promise of victory and the allure of becoming a real estate tycoon. We think of it as a celebration of capitalism. The game seems to glorify the accumulation of wealth, the cutthroat tactics, and the survival of the fittest. It's a microcosm of the capitalist world, where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But what if I told you that Monopoly, at its core, was designed to expose the very system it seems to glorify? The game we know today is a far cry from its original intent. It was meant to be a critique, a warning about the dangers of monopolistic practices and the inequalities they create. The truth, buried under decades of corporate rebranding, is a story of plagiarism, forgotten legacies, and a woman named Lizzie Magie. Lizzie was an innovative thinker, a woman ahead of her time who created a game called The Landlord's Game in the early 1900s. Lizzie Magie never wanted to build hotels on Boardwalk or charge exorbitant rents on Park Place. Her vision was far more profound. She designed her game to illustrate the negative aspects of concentrating land in private monopolies. She wanted to show how such practices could lead to social and economic inequality. She wanted to spark a revolution. Lizzie was inspired by the economic theories of Henry George, who advocated for a single tax on land to prevent the kind of wealth disparity that Monopoly now seems to celebrate. Her game was a tool for education, a way to spread these ideas and inspire change. Her game wasn't about winning at all costs. It was about understanding the dangers of unchecked wealth and the importance of economic equality. It was a game with a message, a purpose beyond mere entertainment. It was about understanding the dangers of unchecked wealth and the importance of economic equality. Over time, however, the game's original message was lost. As it was commercialized and rebranded, the focus shifted from critique to celebration, from warning to endorsement. Let's journey back to the early 20th century and uncover the real story behind the world's most famous board game. By understanding its origins, we can appreciate the deeper lessons it was meant to teach and perhaps see Monopoly in a whole new light. Elizabeth Magie, born in 1866, was a woman ahead of her time. She was not just a product of her era but a visionary who saw beyond the limitations imposed on women and society. Her life was a testament to her relentless pursuit of justice and equality. She was a writer, a feminist, and an outspoken critic of the monopolies that dominated the American economy in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Her writings often reflected her deep-seated beliefs in fairness and equality, challenging the status quo, and advocating for the rights of the underprivileged. Magie saw firsthand the negative effects of concentrated wealth and land ownership. She witnessed how these monopolies created vast disparities in wealth, leading to widespread poverty and suffering. Her observations were not just academic, they were deeply personal and fueled her desire to make a difference. She believed in the power of education, particularly through play. Magie understood that traditional methods of teaching were not always effective in reaching the masses. She saw games as a unique way to educate people about complex economic and social issues in an engaging and accessible manner. She decided to create a game to challenge the status quo. This game was not just for entertainment, it was a tool for enlightenment. Magie wanted to illustrate the dangers of monopolistic practices and the benefits of a more equitable distribution of wealth. Magie wasn't a traditional game designer, she was an activist at heart. Her game design was driven by her passion for social reform and her belief that individuals could make a difference. She saw the potential for games to be more than just entertainment. They could be a medium for education and a catalyst for change. By engaging people in play, she believed she could open their eyes to the injustices around them and inspire them to take action. She believed they could be powerful tools for social change. Her vision was to create a game that would not only entertain but also educate and empower players to think critically about economic and social systems. And so, in 1903, she patented The Landlord's Game, a game that would eventually morph into the Monopoly we know today. This game was her legacy, a testament to her innovative spirit and her unwavering commitment to social justice. Through The Landlord's Game, Elizabeth Magie left an indelible mark on the world of gaming and social activism. The Landlord's Game was no ordinary board game. It wasn't about accumulating wealth for the sake of it. Magi designed the game with two distinct sets of rules, one that mirrored the monopolist system she despised, and another that promoted a more equitable distribution of wealth. The first set of rules was designed to show the dangers of monopolies. Players would buy properties, charge rent, and try to bankrupt their opponents. The second set of rules, however, offered an alternative. In this version, players cooperated to create a more equitable system where everyone benefited from the shared prosperity. Magi wanted players to experience the stark contrast between these two economic models. Fast forward a few decades and enter Charles Darrow. Darrow was an unemployed salesman during the Great Depression, a time when many were struggling to make ends meet. The economic downturn had left countless people jobless and desperate for any opportunity to earn a living. It was in this context that Darrow stumbled upon the Landlord's Game through friends who had been playing it as a form of entertainment and distraction from their daily hardships. An unemployed salesman during the Great Depression, Darrow stumbled upon the Landlord's Game through friends. The game, originally designed by Lizzie Magie, was intended to illustrate the negative aspects of concentrating land in private monopolies. However, Darrow saw something different in it. He was immediately drawn to its potential, but not for the same reasons as Magie. While Magie had created the game to make a political statement about the dangers of monopolies and the need for economic reform, Darrow saw an opportunity to make money. He was immediately drawn to its potential, but not for the same reasons as Magie. Darrow saw an opportunity to make money, not a statement. He believed that with a few modifications the game could be turned into a commercial success. He began to tweak the rules and the design, making it more appealing to a broader audience. He added elements that would make the game more competitive and engaging, transforming it from a didactic tool into a source of entertainment. Darrow saw an opportunity to make money, not a statement. He modified the game slightly, renamed it Monopoly, and sold it to Parker Brothers in 1935. The company saw the potential in Darrow's version and decided to market it widely. Monopoly quickly became a hit, capturing the imagination of a public eager for distraction and amusement during tough times. The game's success brought Darrow fame and fortune, and he often gets credit for inventing Monopoly. He modified the game slightly, renamed it Monopoly, and sold it to Parker Brothers in 1935. Darrow often gets credit for inventing Monopoly. However, this is a tragic misrepresentation of the truth. While he played a role in popularizing the game, the true innovator was Lizzie Magie. Her vision, her message, and her game were co-opted for profit, her contributions erased from the narrative. Darrow often gets credit for inventing Monopoly. This is a tragic misrepresentation of the truth. The real story is one of innovation overshadowed by commercial success. Lizzie Magie, the original creator, had designed the Landlord's Game to educate people about the dangers of monopolies and to promote her progressive ideas about wealth distribution. Her game was a tool for social change, a way to spark conversations about economic justice. This is a tragic misrepresentation of the truth. While he played a role in popularizing the game, the true innovator was Lizzie Magie. Her vision, her message, and her game were co-opted for profit, her contributions erased from the narrative. Despite her significant role in the creation of what would become one of the most popular board games in history, Magie's name is often left out of the story. Her innovative ideas and the original purpose of her game have been largely forgotten, overshadowed by the commercial success of Monopoly. While he played a role in popularizing the game, the true innovator was Lizzie Magie. Her vision, her message, and her game were co-opted for profit, her contributions erased from the narrative. Magie's story is a reminder of how easily the contributions of women and other marginalized groups can be overlooked or erased in history. It is important to recognize and honor her work, ensuring that her legacy is not forgotten. Her vision, her message, and her game were co-opted for profit, her contributions erased from the narrative. The story of Monopoly is not just a tale of a popular board game, but also a reflection of the broader issues of recognition and credit in the world of innovation. Lizzie Magie's contributions deserve to be acknowledged and celebrated, reminding us of the importance of giving credit where it is truly due. Parker Brothers, eager to capitalize on the game's popularity, acquired Magie's patent for a mere $500. They had no interest in her original vision. They streamlined the game, focusing on the competitive aspect that resonated with a public eager for distraction during the Depression. Parker Brothers effectively erased Lizzie Magie from the story of Monopoly. They marketed Darrow as the sole inventor. They turned a game designed to critique capitalism into a symbol of it. The irony was palpable, but the public for the most part remained oblivious. Section 6. The Monopoly Game. The ultimate irony? Monopoly, the game that started as a critique of monopolies, became a global phenomenon. It's a testament to the power of branding and the fickle nature of history. The game that was supposed to warn against the dangers of unchecked greed became a celebration of it. The irony is almost too perfect. Players gleefully buy properties, drive their opponents into bankruptcy, and revel in their simulated wealth, all while remaining blissfully unaware of the game's true origins. It's a stark reminder of how easily narratives can be manipulated and how quickly we forget the past. Section 7. Lizzie's Legacy. A footnote in history or a lesson learned. Lizzie Magie died in relative obscurity in 1948, her role in the creation of Monopoly largely forgotten. Her story is a cautionary tale of intellectual property rights, the power of big business, and the importance of remembering those who challenge the status quo. Magie's legacy, however, is not entirely lost. In recent years, there has been a renewed interest in her story and the true origins of Monopoly. Her game, a testament to her ingenuity and social conscience, serves as a reminder that even the most popular narratives can be misleading. Section 8. The enduring appeal of Monopoly, why we keep playing. Despite its controversial history, Monopoly remains one of the most popular board games of all time. Why? Perhaps it's the thrill of competition, the allure of simulated wealth, or the simple pleasure of spending time with friends and family. Whatever the reason, Monopoly continues to capture our imaginations. It's a game that transcends generations, cultures, and languages. It's a game that, despite its flaws, continues to spark joy, frustration, and everything in between. Section 9. Conclusion. Remembering Lizzie Magie, the original game changer. The next time you roll the dice and land on Boardwalk, remember Lizzie Magie. Remember the woman who dared to challenge the system, the inventor who used a game to spark a conversation about economic justice. Remember that Monopoly, at its heart, is a story about more than just money. It's a story about ideas, about legacy, and about the importance of giving credit where credit is due.